Nowadays, you see women waiting. They're waiting. Well, I want to focus on my career. I want to focus on my degree. I want to be successful. Nothing wrong with that. But what happens is they get to 30 and they have an epiphany. They're like, oh shit, I got to hurry up. Mm-hmm. Like we had a guest on here, I won't say the name, 35 years old, childless, no husband. You're at that, we call it hitting the wall.
Yeah.
And then they become negative around it and start saying men are shitty, men are douchebags. And then they get in their 40s and they end up on TikTok talking shit at 40 years old, which is pointless, right? What did you do in your 20s? And this is another thing. It's interesting on planning. Watch this, Sean. And I know you get this. You talk to men, you say plan. You counsel women, plan. I ask a woman on the show, what's your 2 to 5 year plan? I don't know. You don't know.
But yet you want a quality man.
You're 35 years old.
What do you feel about that hitting the wall phrase?
I think it's an accurate depiction of a natural phenomenon. I think that women do reach a certain point in their life where their value, when I say value, I mean value in the eyes of men specifically, does decrease when they reach a certain age. In terms of fertility, obviously you're older, you're not as attractive, but also like you've had more life experience, and I think the majority of men want a woman that hasn't had a lot of life experience because they want to build that life with you.
In today's video, I'll talk about what happens to ladies when they reach the wall for those of you who aren't aware of the concept. The term "the wall" refers to the period in a woman's life when her physical attractiveness begins to wane, causing her mental and physical foundation to shift as she enters her early 30s. Few women are prepared to face the wall, which commonly affects women between the ages of 30 and 40. Many women in their early 30s have already acquired over 2 decades of experience successfully attracting the attention of men. Men of all ages and socioeconomic backgrounds have shown them love and care, from those in their early 20s to those in their 60s. Many women have told me that they had sex with men in their 50s, but by the time they were 25, high school boys were begging to have sexual relations with them. A woman in her 20s has the potential to pique the interest of men of all ages. However, around the age of 30 or 35, they begin to alter physically, and men in their 20s and 30s begin to withdraw in favor of younger women. It is widely considered that men of the same age range are unjust to women. Women above the age of 35 frequently question why guys their age aren't interested in dating and marrying them. The truth is that a man in his mid-30s with a steady income and a nice car can attract women in their early 20s, even if they are younger and more attractive. Most men need at least 2 years of dating before they feel ready to propose and tie the knot. Therefore, if a man marries a 35-year-old woman through this procedure, she will be 38 years old after the wedding, and will have much lower chances of getting pregnant. Many of the younger men have settled down with families, leaving only the older men on the market. Some of these men may be divorced and looking for a second wife because they already have children from a previous relationship. In my experience, there are a few women in their mid-30s who just can't seem to accept this. They insist that the only men interested in them are those over T. Disgustingly, these normal ladies wasted their 20s jumping from one casual relationship to another, to the point where they have no idea how they ended up here with something none of them had ever considered. Many of these ladies find it odd that men chose partners rather than the other way around. Women struggle to reconcile the fact that men now control the dating scene, and that their pool of potential suitors has shrunk from every man on the planet to just a handful of men who have been badly hurt by women in the past. Men understand how deeply women in their 30s can feel hopeless. Over the course of 3 years, I met a man who fathered 3 children with 3 different women, all of whom he believed were using contraception. He now lives with the woman who gave birth to his 3rd child and supports 2 of his children. I used to believe that once my acquaintances in my social circle started having children, many other women my age would follow suit in their mid-30s. However, many of the women I know who are in committed partnerships have chosen not to have children. It is common for members of social groups of 10 to 15 women to decide not to start a family because these 35-year-old women are still going out to clubs and bars like they did when they were in their 20s. The few women who have children are no longer welcome in this particular social circle. As a lady, it disgusts me that some women actively seek out 25-year-old men at cougar clubs. Because most men in their 20s are only interested in one-night stands, women's self-esteem suffers. Women frequently hit a second wall in their early to mid-40s, just as they were entering middle life. By the age of 30, many women are no longer alluring to even horny teenagers who are simply interested in the intimate connection. At that point, they frequently begin to gain weight and enter menopause. Women reach reproductive age at an earlier age than men, often in their teens, since doing so boosts our species' chances of survival, particularly in the past when resources were scarce. Because of their early puberty, women have historically had an advantage when it comes to having children and carrying on their own genetic lineage. However, they also die off more quickly. Smart, hardworking, financially responsible men will only age better for women, as women are naturally drawn to men who can provide for them. I have a bunch of videos on how to acquire younger ladies who haven't reached the wall yet, so go check them out and knock yourself out.